Well, I'm in I'm in Klaipėda, Lithuania, waiting for the children to come out of the dolphinarium, and I was haunted by a sin that I committed. For me, the sin of my soul. When I was a young man, I'm going back over 30 years. Thought I'd share it, and how God, some kind of corrected me. I was corrected on this point. As a young guy, I went out to Africa, to Zimbabwe, and I went out there with 500 British pounds in my pocket and managed to live for a good 18 months out there on that, by hitchhiking around, living very cheap indeed. And well, I was hitchhiking all the time, and I needed to go and see a guy right up in the bush, far from where I was staying. And I said to her brother, who I baptized, I said, would you come with me up there? Going to hitchhike up there, hitchhike back. All right. Hitchhiked up there, saw this guy. And the sun was going down, it was getting dark, and it was a very remote place. It didn't look like we were going to get back. There was no public transport, I didn't have a car. And so the two of us were standing there on the road in the bush. Any car that came, we were trying to desperately flag it down or take us back to the city. And a white guy pulled up. I should mention that this was 10 years or so after the Bush War had finished, which was Ian Smith's Rhodesia, White Rhodesia, against basically Robert Mugabe and his supporters fighting for black rights and black independence. And so, of course, there was a racial issue, black and white and so forth. And so there I was with this black brother, and we were flagging down vehicles to try and take us back, and it's not nice to be stuck in the bush on your own and have to spend the night there. Well, a white guy turned up, driving in a sort of pickup truck, and he pulled over. And he said, yeah, I'll take you, he said to me, but I won't take the black. I'll take you, but I won't take the black. The sun was going down. And the sin of my soul. The sin of my soul. I look back and think, why do you do that for, Duncan? But the sin of my soul was that I said, yeah, I thought, I don't want to stay here the night. There were big cats up there. There were big cats up there in the bush that came out at night looking for meat to eat on two legs. And to my shame, I got in the car. I got in the guy's pickup. And I left the black brother there. If anyone else did that, I'd say, well, you don't understand anything about Christianity, do you? You don't even know the ABC, mate. And I guess I didn't. Well, I did, but not quite at that. It was a failure of the moment, but it's still a failure. Huge failure. Terrible sin. A lot of sins, but that's one that God has sorted out, but I still feel, how could I have done that? Put my self-interest, my primitive self-interest first, in front of another man, and leave another man to suffer, to be in the bush on his own at night. My self-interest, me first. I consider that to be a major sin. I consider that to be tearing up the whole basis of the Christian faith. And I did it. That's what I did. I did it. Well, I got in the car, in the pickup, and well, the sun was going down, and I just hated myself. I went away. I wanted to tell the guy, stop, just let me out. Let me stay in the bush all night with the big cats. Because I deserve to die. One sin is death. That's the message of Adam and Eve sinning in Eden, is it not? Just eat the forbidden fruit and that's it. Death, quite rightly. And I thought, well, I deserve to die. That's what I believed, I deserved to die. So I just hated myself for the next 2 or 3 hours, and next day. So that brother actually got back before me, and that was a miracle. But I'm not, there's some private things that are so wonderful You wouldn't believe him, but anyway, that's what happened there. So he was okay. By grace, that was a miracle. Don't tell me miracles don't happen. There was a miracle. But anyway, I was there with this fella driving through the darkness, this white farmer. Don't know what happened to him, but anyway, total racist. Wouldn't let a black guy in his car. He'd take me, but not as I said, not the black. And I went along with it. Yeah. Well, I really hated myself. I really hated myself, and I should die. God, take my life. Well, a couple of days later, I got in with some folks that come out pretty much on holiday, and they had a rental car. And I thought if I could use a rental car, even for a day or half a day, I could get around and see contacts, I could do things. I said to them, can I take with you and I'll just use your car? Put me down as a named driver. Oh yeah, that's fine. I tagged around with them. And we got into a town. There was a hotel run by a white guy, and well, they rather liked it. And I said in the afternoon, it looked like they were going to settle there. And I said, "Can I have your car?" "Oh, sure, yeah." I drove off in their car, right up deep in the bush, and visited someone. Of course, it was late at night by then when I finished. And there I was driving back in this car back to their hotel where I was going to sleep. They said, "Oh, we'll fix up your room, we'll pay for you." "Oh, thank you." So I was driving back, going too fast. My eyesight's never been great, and it certainly not good at night. I was flying along, and I went right into a cow, a huge cow. And the cow came up on the windscreen for a moment and smashed the windscreen, and I hit it at an angle, and it went off. Well, the cow was wallowing in its death throes. I was surrounded by a bunch of African villagers. "You killed our cow." And it was late at night, and I said, "Yeah, I'm terribly sorry. We're going to kill you. We're not satisfied over this business apart from with your blood." Well, the windscreen was smashed, and I tried to drive off. I only got a few meters, and I realized afterwards when I got out of the car that the radiator had totally smashed. Radiator fluid over the road, and the engine was seized. I've been driving, the engine was hot, and there was no radiator. Engine seized. So I was surrounded by these guys who were even more annoyed that I tried to drive off. I mean, they threatened to kill me, so there you go. And I locked the doors of the car, but I thought, well, that's stupid. Anyway, it didn't have central locking. This is 30 years ago. And I locked the passenger. I locked my driver's side, but I thought, well, they're going to drag me out of the car anyway. And I said, "Look, how can I put this right?" I had I don't know, but it was a few Zimbabwe dollars, and I might have had two 20-pound notes with me, 40 pounds. I said, "Look, that's the money I got on me. I'm terribly sorry." And I kept saying, "How can I put this right?" And some fellas came with machetes, and they said, "You can only put this right with your blood. On about the Bush War, you killed my brother." I said, "I didn't fight in the Bush War." They said, "You did." "Sure you did. All white Rhodesians fought in the Bush War." Well, I said, "I'm not a white Rhodesian," but I guess didn't look like it. But so they said, "Get out of the car, or do we have to drag you out? You say you want to put this right, and you put it right with your blood." Well, in those times your life does come before you, and of course I thought, well, I've been saying the last couple of days I deserve to die for my sin of getting in the car and leaving my black brother standing there in the bush. And now it was my turn. I was in the bush, middle of the night. Well, there was the lever that you pull to open the door. And well, I thought, well, this is it. Of course, I don't want to die. God help me, God save my life, forgive me all my sins. I thought of where I grew up back in back in London, and your life comes before you, I tell you. These guys are serious, and they had machetes. And not for the first time in my life, an angel appeared. Not, white shining garments and all that stuff, but a very tall guy, tall young guy, very tall and thin, much taller than any of those guys, taller than myself. Very tall guy, with a very calm, serene face, black guy. And I don't know if it was an angel or somebody manipulated by an angel, let's put it that way, and he said to the guys, put those machetes down. This guy didn't intend to do this, did he? You shouldn't have allowed your cattle to roam on the road, and you know that. He didn't mean to do this. Go home and let him go. They disappeared. They obviously respected this guy. And I was out of the car by then. He said to me, you need to leave here immediately. Go. And I was like looking at the car thinking, well, I saw the damage to the car then, that the radiator was stoved in, and I'd obviously seized the engine, and it's finished. The car was scribbled. And I said, well, okay. I looked at the car, I looked at him, and I thought, yeah. I said, go, walk. I started walking. I looked back over my shoulder. I thought I can't just walk in the bush like this. And he was gone. Not a soul around. And I thought, well, that's an angel, right? And, well, I walked. And it's no fun walking in the bush at night, especially when you've just nearly lost your life. It's no fun. And there's big cats out there, out hunting at night. You don't walk through the bush at night. And I walked and I walked. I was singing hymns to myself that I remembered from England, from my upbringing, quoting psalms to myself. And of course I saw the providence of it all, that, there's a God in the earth. People say there's no God. There's a God in the earth. And you think of James 5, you've heard of the endurance, the patience of Job, and you have seen the end of the Lord. Well, the Lord is very pitiful and of tender mercy. He's very pitiful because he took pity on me in my lower state, the lower state being my sinfulness, and he taught me. And I had to walk all night on that road. And I thought, I can't go back. And the angel, it kind of was, told me to go forward. So I had to walk forward, and eventually I saw the neon light of that hotel in the distance, and I was thanking God. I was not just for looking after me, but for clearly forgiving me for what I'd done a couple of days ago. It's funny how life repeats. You put someone in a bad situation, you leave a man alone in the bush at night, and you get put in the bush at night yourself, and you see man is brought down very small. I was brought down very small, and the key is to stay down. And at first, you tend to come back up, and you don't have these situations every 5 minutes, thankfully, in a sense, but unfortunately in a spiritual sense, because you're brought down very low and then you come back up, unfortunately. So what is there to say? Thank God for his grace. And well, I was unworthy to be alive. You can realize theoretically that, yeah, I'm a terrible sinner, I deserve death. But when you face it, when you actually face your death, oh, you don't like it, or God save me. Please, Father, just this once. It wasn't the first time that angels appeared in my life just like that, and they always save me and kind of disappear. It wasn't the first time. I don't really know what to say further. Just to thank God and try to learn the lesson. And I realise it's not just that what goes around comes around, but what you do to people, you end up happens to you, well, yeah, that is so to some degree. But I think more than that God doesn't practice poetic justice. He practices education, trying to teach you. And I'm sure that you've seen that in your life, just as I did in mine.